Okay, so it's the end of March and we're doing a reading wrap up with all my book journals, but it's also the end of the first quarter of the year. So I think every quarter I'm going to do like a quarterly wrap up as well. So this might be a little longer than my normal wrap up is. But I wanted to kind of give you guys a little, what's it called? What's the word? A little update, I guess, and reflection of what I've read so far this year and how I've rated things and how many books I've read so far. So, I read 12 books in January, 11 in February, and 13 for this month, bringing our yearly total to 36. My goal for the year was 75. So we're definitely gonna beat that because I'm already past halfway. Barely, but like we are. And then our average star rating has been a solid 3.8 every single month. So for the year, we're at a 3.8 star rating on average. The lowest star that I've given this year is a 2, and that was to Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And the highest one was one of the books I read this month, so we'll get into that later. I think that's everything. If you kind of want more of a visual, because this is just a lot of words, if you want more visually pleasing way of looking at it, these are all the books that I've read this year. This is my favorite page of my book journal. And the colors coordinate with what star rating that I gave them. And their keys on the back page. But there's only 75 books on this little bookshelf. So I made sure to leave the next page blank so that if I exceeded my goal, which is probably going to happen, that I can draw another bookshelf on this side and then just continue to add to it. But yeah, so that's it for that. Another spread of my book journal is the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. Each color that I shade the book in when I finish it is the color of the month that my brain like organizes them into. So the blue ones are ones I read in January, the pink one is I read that in February, and then the 2 green ones I read in March this month. So I've completed 6 of those so far, so we're on track to getting all 24 of those read this year. I haven't filled in my March bracket for my favorite book of the year, but for January, my favorite book was Belladonna. And for February, my favorite book was Bride. And of the 2, I liked Belladonna better, so Belladonna moved forward for that. So we will fill that out. Okay, so the first book that I read this month was How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine. And I've actually had this book for over a year. I bought it while I was still in college and I just never picked it up. I was never really in the mood for it, but I finally picked it up because this month I tried to read more of what was on my TBR and it was so good. So it's about this girl who her sister gets murdered on Halloween in a cornfield, and it's a year later and her sister's murderer is put on trial. And then our main character randomly gets thrown back in time a year ago and she has the chance to stop her sister's murder from happening. And you get a lot of surprises. There are a lot of twists, a lot of turns that I didn't see happening. And so it was so good. And I gave it 4.5 stars. And then the next book I read was Finale by Stephanie Garber. Finally finished the Caraval series, the main series. And it was good. I gave it 3 stars. I was kind of bored. I started reading it probably like a month and a half ago. Like got about this far into it and then stopped reading it just because I wasn't hooked into it. There wasn't a lot going on really in it. And so instead I finally forced myself to finish it. I liked the end. It did get more exciting and intriguing towards the end, and I liked certain elements that were added to it, but again, not my favorite of the series, and just kind of had to force myself to finish it. But as a whole, I love the series so much. And then I read a audiobook from Libby called Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams, and I believe he also wrote books like No Exit and The Last Word, I think is also by him. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It's all of his books are kind of like mystery thriller-esque type books. This one is about a girl who she was told that her sister unalived herself. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the actual word for that on the tube, but she unalives herself, and that's just what she was told. And so she goes to the place where this act was said to have happened. She meets up with the police officer who like had to write his report, like, because he found her, so he wrote the report. And so she meets up with him and basically is like, how did this happen? How do you know that it was actually self-unaliving? And like basically just like, how do you know that this is what happened? Like, are you 100% sure? Lots of twists, but also it just kind of felt dragged on, and so that's why I gave it kind of a lower rating, because it felt like it took forever, and I felt like they were talking for literally days when this all happens within the span of like 4 hours. But it was still good, and I would still recommend it. It's just long and dragging, but lots of twists and turns, so give and take. And then my 5-star read, my first 5-star read for the whole year, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley, I think you say her name Poston, but I say Poston. Don't know which is the correct way, but read this one. So it's about a girl who she inherits an apartment from her aunt, and her aunt growing up always told her that she had a magic apartment and that it was just enchanted and did magical things. Once she moves in, she learns that it actually sends you 7 years in the past, kind of just randomly, and then she ends up meeting a guy who rented the apartment from her aunt 7 years ago. And, you know, it's a romance, so they start falling in love, and she wants to try and find him in the present because she starts really, really liking him. And so yeah, it's just kind of about their relationship, and then you have to think about the fact that if they do meet in the present, it's only been like a couple days for her, but for him it's been literally 7 years since he saw her, because he has to move out of the apartment at some point because it's her aunt's apartment. And so yeah, it was such a good story. The romance was chef's kiss, and yeah, I will be reading way more of Ashley Poston, however you say her name. I will be reading more of her work as she comes out with it. So yeah, really good book. And then I read Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. The first Tessa Bailey book I read, I listened to it, and it wasn't my favorite. And so I was very skeptical going into this book. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I actually really did like this. It is a brother's best friend trope, and it was so random because she's actually, her profession is a entertainer. She gets hired out for like kids' birthday parties and stuff, but she dresses up as a clown. So she's a clown as her job. And I think it's the funniest thing. And then he is a professional baseball player who gets injured. Like, you start off the book him getting injured and having to move back to the small town that he's from, and they reconnect, and obviously they start falling in love. But they also fake date, and so it's a fake dating trope, and it was really good. It was cute, and I liked it, and I think I gave it 3.5 stars. And then I read another one of Ashley Poston's books, With Any Luck. This one is just a little novella that Amazon, I think, like brought all these authors together, and they wrote little novellas, and they're only like, I listened to all of them, and I think the longest one was like 2 hours, and the shortest one was an hour and like 15 minutes or something. So they're all really short. I was driving like 5 hours to go to a concert, and so I listened to all of them during that weekend, and they were just so cute. I read 2 of them last month, and then I listened to the rest of them during that trip. But With Any Luck, So there's two people getting married, and the bride's best friend is a guy and the groom's best friend is a girl, and so it's like the best girl and then the man of honor type thing, so it's like the roles are switched. Anyways, the groom goes missing the morning of the wedding, and they can't find him anywhere, so they have to kind of work together. They absolutely hate each other. They have to come together and try and find the groom, find out what happened, because they were all drunk off their minds the night before. And so they have to work together to kind of retrace their steps of the last night and kind of what happened and where the groom is. And I thought it was so cute and it was just fun. It reminded me of the movie Anyone But You. Love that movie so much. And it was a good time. And then continuing with these little short ones, I read Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez. This is my first Abby Jimenez book / novella that I've ever read from her, and I gave it 3.5 stars. I gave With Any Luck 4 stars. This one I gave 3.5 stars, and it was good. So she's a nurse and her grandma's dying, so she is her grandma's hospice nurse, and she finds a note on her car one day from this guy who was supposed to put a note on his brother's, I think it's his wife, so his sister-in-law's car for his brother, and he's supposed to put this note on there for Valentine's Day. He puts it on the wrong car, and it's her car, the nurse girl, and then they start exchanging letters back and forth, and they finally do get to meet each other at some point, but they don't know that it's the person that's writing them letters. It was cute. It was good. It was a fun read. I don't know what else to say other than that, because it was really short, but I had a good time reading it. And then I read Rosie and the Dreamboat, and I think this one should be a movie because, first of all, I gave it 3.5 stars, but she goes to a spa place, retreat type thing with her sister because her sister just got a promotion, and so she wanted to kind of gift her sister with this thing to kind of congratulate her on the promotion. She gets stuck in a flotation tank and they can't get her out, and the fire department has to come, and they're trying to figure out a way to get it open without damaging the tank, but also she's in the pitch black darkness with salt water, and she is just scared, and she is nervous and anxious, and then her sister leaves her. Freaking sister of the year right there. But then there's a fireman that comes and stays with her the whole time on the out, like he just talks to her through the wall. They start getting to know each other, they start to fall in love, this is why it's a movie, because there's no way this would happen in real life, to fall in love within the span of like 5 hours. So, but she's stuck in there for literally hours. And yeah, this one I think I liked I rated With Any Luck the highest, but I think I liked this one the most. And I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone except for me. But yeah. And then the last one I listened to from that little set of novellas is Drop, Cover, and Hold On. This is my least favorite. I give it 3 stars. It's by Jasmine Glory, I think is how you say her name. And it is about an earthquake happening, and she gets stuck inside this bakery. It's her favorite bakery, and she loves the pastries that are there, but the pastry chef, the guy that owns it, he has never really acted nicely towards her, but he actually has liked her ever since he first saw her. And so she gets stuck in there with him, just him, and she gets to kind of confront him and be like, you're never nice to me, and this was my last day that I was ever gonna come here, I told myself. And he's like, no, actually, I really, really like you. Like, ma'am, please. Anyways, it was good. It was just not my favorite of the bunch set of those. But it was still cute and still fun, and I still had a good time. And then the next book I read was Ruby Red, and I read it from the library, so I don't have the physical copy of it. I actually read this book back when I was in like middle school or high school, like young high school. I didn't know this at the time that I was reading it when I first read it, but it's actually translated from German. It's by Kirsten Geyer. Geyer, I don't know, Kirsten, Miss Kirsten. And so rereading this, it was super fun. It's about a girl who inherits a time travel gene from her family when everyone thought it would be her cousin that would inherit this gene, but it was actually her. And then she gets to know this guy from connected family that he also inherited that gene, and they have to go back in time together and kind of go on these missions. And there's a lot more to it. Like the people before them that could time travel, they stole one of the time travel machines and took it with them because they didn't want this big secret to be revealed. Once you collect a little bit of blood from every person who's had the time travel gene, then a big secret's gonna be revealed, and they didn't want that to happen, so they stole one of the time travel machines. And I know one of the big twists that happens at the end of the book, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot that happened. And it was a good time. And then it's a trilogy, and so I am currently reading book 2 of that, and I gave it 4 stars. And then the next one I read was also from the library. It was the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series, The Titan's Curse, and gave it 4 stars. Rick Riordan is the author, obviously everyone knows that. And I love the Percy Jackson books so much. Like, just the things that happen. It is the 3rd book in the series, so I won't say anything really that happens in it, but I love Percy. I love the characters that were in this. You get to see the Hunters of Artemis in this book. You also meet 2 other important characters that you see throughout the rest of the series and through the Heroes of Olympus series as well. And so at least one of them you get to see. I don't remember if you see the other one. Anyways, really good. I have the 4th one as well down in my room, and we'll be reading that this coming month. And then I read Rebecca Ross's Dreams Lie Beneath. I cannot say enough good things about Rebecca Ross. Her writing is always beautiful, always. And her worlds are never really hard to comprehend when you start one of her books. So this one, it is, there's certain people that can be magicians, and these magicians, if they want to, they can become kind of like guardians, or what's the word they use? Wardens is what they call it, of certain areas that protect them from nightmares. So every new moon, people that have nightmares, you have to record them in the nightmare book. And then every new moon, some of those nightmares can come to real life and like be in the streets and be real. And so these wardens, they record all those dreams or those nightmares that happen during the month, and then they keep a record of all the nightmares that ever happened in that area, so that every new moon they know how to kind of defeat the nightmare and keep the streets safe type thing. And there's this girl and her name's Clementine, and her father is the warden, and she is kind of like his partner, his apprentice type thing, and they get challenged by some other magicians that want to be the warden of that area. And so it's kind of about that. It's about some more things, but it kind of spoils it if I tell you about that. So just know that it's magic. It's really easy to understand. It's just beautiful. I absolutely love these books. I will say I wanted it to be like 20 to 30 more pages long, because the end just kind of feels so abrupt, and I just wanted there to be more, or like a more concrete ending. But that's just me. So, and then I also gave this book 4.25 stars. And then the book I ended the month with, because I'm not gonna finish the book that I'm reading by the end of today, which today is March 31st. So the book that I did finish before the month is up is Beauty Reborn by Elizabeth Loham. This is the book my brother got me for Christmas. Finally read it, and it was beautiful. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it gives kind of a different backstory to Beauty. She has siblings. She has a previous relationship with the person who's meant to be Gaston in here. So her dad actually loses all of his, they used to be a rich merchant family, and he loses all of his money because one of his ships sinks in the ocean. I'm saying a lot. And and so all of their family is poor now, and they have to move to a tiny little cottage, and one of her sisters blames her for it, which makes no sense. She has a really big imagination. She likes pretending things and stuff, so she tries to be positive and kind of optimistic and keep the family spirits up. But her sister resents her for that. Her oldest sister just is always angry with her and kind of resentful towards her because of her optimistic attitude. And so she takes one for the team, and when her dad comes back saying that he has to go be a prisoner for this beast, she takes his place for him, and she spends like 6 months with the beast. Like, she's there for a long time, and I won't say anything else besides that, but so good. I absolutely loved it, and I gave this one 4 stars. Okay, those are all the books that I read for this month of March, and I will be seeing you guys next month for a reading wrap up, and hopefully some more videos that I'm working on will be able to come out kind of randomly throughout the month. But yeah, until I see you guys next time, I guess, have fun, be good, read lots, and like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff that you guys know how to do. And I appreciate you guys so much, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.